right. Hi, everybody. My name is Joan Bushman, and I work at the Hudson Library. I would like to show you all how to make paper beads using strips of paper. This is a fun project that's something kids and adults can do, and you can probably do it with things you have around the house. So here are some examples of paper beads I've made and strung into necklaces. There's these here. You can see these beads are pretty small, including the one I have around my neck. So that's probably more for adults. But here's an example of one that kids could make pretty easily. It is using construction paper and a bead shape that's just a plain tube. So it might be fun for them to do that. I know we're all looking for things to keep kids busy these days. So here are the things that you need to make this. You need paper, first off, and you can use so many different kinds of paper for this. You could use construction paper, you could use scrapbook paper, you could use wrapping paper, you could use newspaper or magazine paper. I haven't tried that, but I've heard other people have done that. You could even take a white piece of paper and color it and then cut that up and make that into your paper strips. So the other thing you need is you need some kind of glue, and just plain Elmer's glue is fine. If you have Mod Podge, that's great because then you can coat your beads with Mod Podge, paint it on them, and that will protect them from moisture, and it'll also give them kind of a glossy look, so makes them a little prettier. You need something to roll your paper strips on, and that can be as simple as a round pencil for kids, or my favorite tool is actually a large nail. And as you can see, the center hole will be different based on that. So you'll string it onto something different. Speaking of stringing your beads, you need something to string them on. So if you have some kind of string around the house, you can use that. You could use yarn if you didn't have string. If you have something a little fancier like paracord, or this lovely rat tail cord, which I like, it's shiny. Bamboo cord that you would buy maybe for some kind of jewelry making, or embroidery floss. Some of these, like this paper, this construction paper necklace, I actually used clothesline to string that on. And there's another one here that I used a shoelace. So lots of options for things you can string them on. You also need a ruler and a pencil so you can mark your paper. I have a handy little washcloth here because your fingers get sticky, and so it's wet washcloth that I could just wipe my fingers off on. Not necessary, but it's kind of nice. And a piece of wax paper or parchment paper that you can lay your beads on after you've made them. So I think scissors, pair of scissors, which I don't have, so I'll have to get that. Okay, so the shape of your paper beads is determined by the shape of the paper strip that you use. So if you have a straight-edged strip like this one, you're going to get a bead that looks like a tube, like this one. If you have a pointy end like this one, you're going to get a bead that's very cone-shaped, like this one. And if you do something in between where it's just slightly tapered, doesn't come to quite such a point, you get a bead that's a little bit in between. And I like that shape of bead. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to make the tube shape for kids. I'm going to show kids how to do this out of a piece of construction paper. So the first thing you want to do is take your ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to mark off, I'm going to move this, there we go. I'm going to mark off right here a 1/2 inch. That's the size of these beads. They're 1/2 inch beads. I'll lay that down right there. I'm going to mark off a 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom of a piece of paper, construction paper. Then I'm going to take my ruler and draw a straight line between my two marks. The pencil. And then I'm going to grab my scissors, which I did get. And I'm going to cut that strip. You do want to try to cut it fairly straight. And there you go. got a strip of paper. If you have pencil marks on it, make sure that your pencil marks go on the inside where you're going to roll it up so that they're not visible on the outside. Then we're going to take our pencil and get our glue ready. I'm going to unscrew the cap so it's ready to go, and I like to lay my glue down because that makes it come out faster, and I'm impatient that way. So we're going to start rolling our bead on this piece of, around this pencil. So just starting out like that. You want to get it even, you know, you don't want to be rolling like that. You want to be rolling so your edges of the paper are meeting. And to start with, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue. You don't need to use a ton of glue. It doesn't take much to hold it together. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of glue right there. Hopefully you can see that just a bit. And then I'm going to start to roll the bead. And it can be a little tricky at first. So, you know, feel free to practice. Well, I didn't quite start off even here, but it's good enough. And my pencil marks are on the inside. And I'm rolling, and just that little bit of glue at the beginning, and then we're going to use a little bit of glue again at the end. So I'm going to get all the way till I'm about there, and then I'm going to take my glue and just put a little bit. I'm barely squeezing the bottle. And then roll it around, and if some comes out, that's fine. Just going to hold my finger there for a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to slide it off the pencil. And there you go. There's your bead. I'm going to wipe my fingers on here. And there's your bead. And then we can take a little bit of Mod Podge. Oh, I have a paintbrush too. I didn't mention that before in your supply list. A little brush of some sort. And then just put your Mod Podge on. You don't have to worry about it. You can just kind of slop it on there. Not too thick, but just kind of slop it on there. And then set it on your wax paper, your parchment paper to dry. The only thing, if you're doing a bunch of beads, you just don't want them to touch each other because they will stick together, but otherwise you don't have to worry. You know, if it tips over, fine, just move them every once in a while. Oh yeah, you can't see, there you go. So just there, and there you go. And then after you make a whole bunch of those, many colors, or you can pick a color scheme that you like and make your necklace that way. So making the cone shape beads is a little bit more complicated just because you have to mark your paper differently. You're going to make a long triangular strip of paper, and the way you do that is, obviously if your bead is 1 inch wide at the widest end, you have to mark the 1/2 inch spot for the narrow end, and you're going to draw the triangle to that. And I use 2 different colors of marker or pencil to do that. And I'll show you here what I mean. So my paper is black and red, and I've made the first triangle here going from a red up to a black and the black down to the red. Now I'm going to take my ruler and go from the red down to the next black strip or black mark, and then I'm going to go from the black mark to the red mark. So I've marked on both ends of paper, I've marked 1 inch and in one color and 1/2 inch in another color. So then again, you go from the red to the black. And I'll show you here in just a minute. I'm going to go from the black to the red. And show you that we have many long strips now. So we have 1, 2, 3 there, 4, 5. This one isn't quite one, though we could make it into one. So there you go. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm going to show you now. I have some paper, scrapbook paper, that I've already marked off in 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch for the skinny part and 1/2 inch for the wide part. And I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these and show you how to roll the cone shape bead. So go ahead and cut your strip. You know, you don't have to be perfect. Your beads are all going to look just a little bit different because none of your strips are going to be exactly the same, and that is okay. It is art after all. Handmade. So here you go. Now I'm using the nail for a nice skinny hole and a 1/2 inch strip that gets to a really pointy end down here. And I'm going to start to roll it, and same glue technique. So just when I get it started like that, I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. My glue is stuck. Hold on 1 second here. There you go. There's a little dot of glue. And then I'm going to start to roll it. So again, you can't really judge from your edges. Like, you want to start off with your edges lined up really well. But then, of course, your bead starts to taper. So you have to pay attention to the center of your bead and eyeball it so you're keeping the center of your paper in the center of your bead, because the edges are going to start to taper away, hence the cone shape. Again, perfection is not required. Practice a couple times. It'll be great. I promise. Here we go. Got a really skinny end, but I'm not going to use any glue again until I get really close to the end. Here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. And it's okay if your glue seeps out like this. Go ahead and roll it around all the way to that skinny little end. And I just kind of rub the glue around. And it worked. I'm going to wipe my fingers off and slide my bead off the nail. Get it ready to show you. There you go. I'm going to cover it with a little bit of Mod Podge. And just slap that on there. I have made a couple of these already, so I can show you the finished product. It's interesting with color. I judge my paper based on the colors that I like, and you know, you sometimes have to try. You don't want your paper to be too white. This is a little white, but I think there's enough color in it. And oh, here's my cat to help. She's not a lot of help with crafting, really. So here I put it on some paracord, and you know, I accented the color or drew attention to the color in the bead by using a purple paracord. So you can do that kind of thing to make your bead. And it's funny how the beads change the way they look based on the colors that you put with them. So should we try one on Nora and see how she looks? Oh, maybe you can't even see Nora in the camera, but my black cat is here. She would look lovely. I could maybe make her a necklace. Oh geez, she's gonna walk in front. There we go. Maybe you got a tail. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll give paper bead making a try. It can be fun. It's a little bit of putsy. Hopefully you'll like it. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll have more videos out there. Miss Sarah's doing story times, and we have Chris doing STEM videos, and there's other instructional videos and author interviews and things like that. So we would love to have you check that all out. And thank you very much, everybody. Take care. I look forward to seeing you again at the library soon, I hope. Thanks.